Good morning and welcome to Acts chapter 15. When I first read through this chapter I thought, oh dear, this is a little bit dull. It's not very interesting at all. Here in the 21st century, circumcision is not really an interest for the church. It's not something which we argue about. But essentially here we have a whole chapter discussing the importance of whether somebody needs to be circumcised or not. And I began to think about, actually, do we put pressure upon people to act in a certain way? Have we as Christians within our culture decided what's okay and what's not okay, how we should act in church? Are we happy if somebody comes into church and their children are running around or they're shouting? Are we happy if somebody comes into church and they're just chattering away at the back because they don't know any difference? Are we happy if people come into church and open up a can of pop and a sandwich in the middle of the service? How do we feel if somebody comes in and maybe they're wearing a short skirt or a low top? Do we roll our eyes? What do we do with these people? Do we say in our heads, well, you're welcome as part of our congregation, but you should be wearing certain clothes. You should be quiet. You should control your children. You shouldn't ask questions in the middle of the sermon. These were things that the early church had to deal with. And actually, today, we still have to deal with them. We might have a veneer of politeness around us, so we don't say this to the person. But actually, if we're thinking these things and we're making judgments, are we actually the same as this council? Are we the same as some of these Jewish people who thought to be accepted by Jesus you had to act in a certain way? This isn't what Jesus thinks. He welcomes and he accepts everybody. He loves those that are lost, that are hurt. He loves those that haven't been brought up in a church culture, that haven't been brought up in a middle class family, that have had niceties placed upon them, that know how to act and how to speak correctly. These are the people we should be reaching out to. These are the people the early disciples were reaching out to. And so maybe my challenge for you today is that the next time somebody comes into church and makes things a little bit uncomfortable, let's not just sit there and roll our eye or sigh under our breath. Let's go up and greet them, welcome them, show that they're excited, and then demonstrate by the way in which we act. Demonstrate by the things in which we say that maybe is acceptable to us. But let's welcome everybody in. Let's not judge people, even in our hearts. Have a great day, everybody.